Thank you for being here today. Hello, everyone. It's a great honor for us to host this event, and always when we have this type of event, it's a pleasure for us and full of joy. We have today a research report, but it's a special research report. It's not something usually. Normally, we have special or research reports that will deliver to the academia and we share between us within the universities and all over the world. It's something special. But right now we have this research report which represents in fact an output very good and destined to the business environment. This is very important for us because this report appears as a discussion, debate and request from the Italian embassy in Romania, and we was pleased to give a positive answer that we are able to provide and deliver this kind of reports. And these reports and these research results represent in fact a reality. We have the capability to provide this kind of research services to the business environment, and we are very happy with this. I hope that the Italian embassy is also happy with the result of the research activities, and this is possible to have in our school based on the one very good initiative of our rector that appeared in March 2020 when we start the pandemic time, and we have that very good change game or discussion to deliver to the public and to the public institution and the entire society of Romania some information related to the impact of pandemic time to the Romanian economy. We developed Romanian Economic Monitor as a platform of research and platform of delivery research results during the activities. And today we have a very good product. We are very proud of this product, and at the end of this presentation and this meeting, you'll be able to receive one printed copy just to remember about this meeting. To not be too long today, I want to give the floor to Professor Daniel David, our rector, to express his thinking, feelings, and observation related to this report and our activity.
The Economic Monitor is already well known. Well known in the country, and sometimes the outcomes are taken into account by different international institutions, which is a great thing. And indeed, we started this project in 2020 when we said, look, the role of the university is to show support for the society in crisis situation. Of course, that we have different contribution during the normal times, but a university should be there for the society and for the world in crisis situation, like pandemic conditions, wars, and so on. And I'm very happy that as a part of this project, now we have this more specific project, the role of the Italian investments and trade in the development of the Romanian economy. Because what is very important is always to have policies and approaches which are data-based. Especially in Romania, sometimes we have strategies, policies which are not related to data, but maybe to different desires, wishful thinking, and so on. And I'm very curious to listen and to understand the outcomes of this specific project, because once we know where we are based on data, we know how to go and how to proceed in future so that we can reach our future objectives. So these are the main ideas I wanted to express today. A good project, hopefully interesting results so that we can have in future collaborations based on data. And I'm very happy that this is about the collaboration between Romania and Italy. Italy is important for us, not only from an economical perspective. Italy is very important for us from an historical perspective, so I'm very curious to listen and to learn more about the outcomes. Thank you.
This product proves us that we are capable to get in competition with the consulting firm in Romania to deliver research services to the business environment, and we are going to do this more in the near future. In this time to invite His Excellency Alfredo Maria Dorante Mangoni, the Ambassador of Italy in Romania, to address a few words. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, dear Rector David, Professor Sass, Director of the Research. I'm very glad to be in Cluj today for the presentation of this study. It's a very good sign of partnership between the Italian Embassy and the Babeș-Bolyai University. We have established last year in this faculty the Center of Excellence Leonardo da Vinci to support the Italian business in this region. The project on the impact of the Italian investments in Romania, it's a project that I had as an objective since 2 years ago, and I'm happy to see now realized this important accomplishment of my mandate. So it's a long-awaited outcome aimed at offering to stakeholders to grasp a better picture of the Italian business, Italian investments in Romania. We have a very positive picture, and this study is very helpful because it helps to systemize and to better organize data and information about the Italian investments in Romania. I'm also happy that you worked a lot on open sources, but also re-elaborating some information on your own, taking from the Bank of Italy, Banca Nazionale di Romania, the business register, and different other sources. This year, Italy and Romania renewed the strategic partnership. We had the intergovernmental meeting in February in Rome with the 2 prime ministers, several ministers, a lot of agreements signed. And back to the political meeting, we had also a business forum which focused on opening a 3rd phase of the Italian presence, economic presence in Romania, more focused on innovative sectors and emerging technologies. I think that our 2 economic systems are working very well together. There is a high complementarity. We can serve together the objectives of the double transition to strengthen the European strategic autonomy and resilience, also in light of the reports of Mr. Letta on the internal market and of Mr. Draghi for the European competitiveness. And I would also like to emphasize what are the distinctive features of the Italian business in Romania and Made in Italy entrepreneurship that you should be aware of. We bring creativity, we bring flexibility, we bring integrity and compliance. The business fundamentals are complemented by social responsibility and an innate propensity for innovation. We have also some examples here in this audience of this constant quest for improvement, not only of products and processes, but also of the entire production environment, in order to contribute to the quality of business climate and the standard of living of the locations of the territories where our companies have chosen to settle. Therefore, doing business with Italy is easier for Romania than with other countries whose values and business models differ from those that make up the common Latin and European cultural matrix. So thank you again for this important outcome, and I look forward to know more about the results of this research. Thank you.
Stimat auditoriu, stimați studenți, dragi profesori, mă bucur foarte mult că am primit această invitație și pot reprezenta Consiliul Județean în această ilustră întâlnire. Mă bucur deoarece noi nu putem uita ceea ce o firmă italiană, cea mai puternică din Cluj, a făcut în momentul când parcul industrial din Jucu a fost părăsit de Nokia și toată lumea economică și socială din județul Cluj se aștepta la o criză. și a venit de Longhi, căruia îi mulțumim, și a preluat tot ce înseamnă acel parc industrial în acel moment, dar mai ales oamenii, socialul pe care îl reprezenta acea fabrică. Totodată, istoria ne leagă foarte mult de Italia, atât istoria religioasă cât și istoria timpurilor. Pentru noi, pentru transilvaneni, este foarte apropiată Italia. Suntem foarte mulți romano-catolici. Am avut onoarea să mă întâlnesc cu domnul ambasador de câteva zile la recepția Ordinului Suveran de Malta. Ei, avem foarte multe legături. Pentru asta eu vă aduc mulțumiri că găzduiți dumneavoastră în Universitatea această lucrare care ne va fi prezentată. Eu pot vorbi doar despre județul meu, pe care îl cunosc foarte bine și mi este foarte apropiat, dar extrapolați dumneavoastră, aduceți tot ceea ce înseamnă economia italiană cu investiții în România. Este un lucru foarte ușor. Eu, de exemplu, dacă vorbește cineva italiană, 60-70% înțeleg, viceversa nu este la fel, deoarece noi avem mai multe cuvinte slavone, dar nu înseamnă nimic. Frăția și modul de a cunoaște umanitatea italiană și umanitatea celor care locuiesc aici, fie ei români, maghiari sau alte naționalități, este ceea ce te poate apropia. Și ați folosit, domnule rector, cuvântul încredere, ceea ce este foarte important în tot ceea ce înseamnă economie, business. Noi ne-am dorit să avem și mai multă predictibilitate, ceea ce ar trebui să facă politicienii, poate mai la sud de Transilvania, dar Transilvania are un specific unde cuvântul dat este o formă de contract. Eu vă mulțumesc că sunteți parte dumneavoastră, domnule ambasador, și toată comunitatea italiană, sunteți parte a acestui contract pe care dorim să-l avem în continuare, încă câteva sute de ani, cât ne mai ține bunul Dumnezeu pe aici și ne apără de războaie. Asta este cel mai important, fiindcă cel mai mare pericol pe care îl avem, în afară de secularizarea lumii, este pericolul răsăritului, care întotdeauna în această parte a Europei a fost prezent. Sperăm că vom putea în continuare să ne aducem dezvoltare și sunt convins că această colaborare continuă, această frăție, chiar dacă vorbim de multe ori limbi diferite, va rămâne în continuare vie. Mulțumesc frumos!
Thank you so much. It's time to say the point of view of business environment, and I have the pleasure to invite to address few words Mrs. Carmen Petcu, General Manager of the Longhi.
If we are in a psychotherapy session, I'm the patient. So I will discover from the doctor if I did well or no. The Longhi is here by about 12 years already. I think first of all we should thank to Razvan and to Laurent for the study. It's very important to understand what brings us together and what is helping us to progress. And Italian investments, it's not the charming prince coming with a big white horse with a big bag of money. I'm Romanian and I'm speaking about we Italians, but I think what we learned in Romania is that Italian economy is bringing a lot of knowledge and a lot of adaptability, which is helping Romanian environment to progress better because we are maybe closer as culture, as trend, as way of working and way of thinking. When this mutual area is coming in front of us, I think it's easier to learn from Italians how to deal with all the things in front of us. So maybe investments are important because of the diversity and added cultural value they bring to us. I remember in the 90s, we were saying to all the investors how good engineers we are. That's a big bullshit. We need, the doctor will explain this to you. There is not white charming prince coming with a white horse and a big bag of money. Nobody has that. I will I will open nicely the eyes and listen to the study and understand that investment, it's a matter of competitiveness, a matter of efficiency and profitability. There is no beautiful eyes and not big heart. It's about profit and proving that we can do that. What we should learn from the Italian style of investment is they never give up. They always find a solution. And we should pick up what is good for us to make a long road together. And there is another thing which I highly appreciate and put all the work I'm doing with my team every day is to have the responsibility, the social responsibility of the presence of a business, foreign business in Romania. This is an educational, a social, and a community responsibility because it's not only about money. It's not only about money, it's the added value, the educational, the adaptability and flexibility we are building, and the level of life, the opportunities we are opening for the employees of a company. DeLonghi is trying to do that modestly because we are not a big company, but the good thing is that we will be here for the next 50 years.
Time to move on with a new guest of ours, which is representative of Cluj Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It's about
It was a pleasure to receive this invitation and an honor to accept the invitation on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, especially because I'm back at my alma mater, which is UBB Fusega. As my colleagues have said earlier, from the beginnings of, since the Chamber of Commerce started in 1990, soon enough we've started having foreign investment in 94. And in 94, among the foreign companies, among the foreigners that started opening businesses in Cluj, without much surprise, we've had the Hungarians in top 3 in number of companies, and very close after, we've had the Italian companies. From exactly like Mr. Vaca highlighted, those are probably some of the reasons why we've seen this high number of Italians opening companies in Cluj. We've also had, I'm very interested to see from the study exactly why we have other influences. From the beginning, from 94, since we've had, the Chamber of Commerce has been close to the foreign companies, especially to the Italian companies. And as we are today, and this is fresh out of the oven from this morning, from our colleagues from the registry, have almost 1,000 active Italian companies in Cluj County. As we have supported them from the start of their business to modifications to the legal requirements up until certificates of origin for exports, non-EU exports. We hope to continue to be as close to the companies from now on, and we are very excited to see the results of the study. Thank you so much.
I'm very happy and honored to be somehow at the end of this project, which has been taken up some months before, constantly collaborating with the Embassy of Italy in Bucharest. And yes, I will try the impossible to be short in, let's say, 20 minutes to present a study that has almost 100 pages, and I would like just to highlight the main takeaways, so let's see the main trends, so that everyone can have a general picture about these Romanian-Italian economic relationships, especially how Italian investments and trade help the development of the Romanian economy. But before that, given that also the rector and the dean mentioned about the little research lab that conducted this study, the Romanian Economic Monitor, and yes, you can find us in the social media. And why? Our site is under reconstruction, so don't try that, but you can try the social media pages, because exactly, even though this is a research project, it's supporting also the third mission of the university, the social implication, the social responsibility of the university, because through our research, the original intent, the original objective of this study was to help the society, help decision makers, economic decision makers, politics, but also the larger society to understand what's happening in the Romanian economy. And what we do is just, we take important topics, and then we do our research in the background, and we try to show the results in a way that it's easy to understand for the whole society, so not just for the economists. And let me give you one example, and then we can move on to the study. I promise that. Yesterday, we came out with a new visualization of our results, basically, again, in a very colorful and easy to understand way. The news is absolutely positive, or sounds like that. Romania has caught up with Poland in terms of GDP per capita, so we are on an upward trend. However, we also have there a question, is this real? I mean, can we say that the economic development of Romania is already on par with Poland? And my answer, again, humble answer is that, or our answer is that no, not yet. This is just one indicator, has to be taken with much caution. For example, we explained that, okay, what's the perception of the population of Romania? If you look at the financial situation of people, of the inhabitants of Romania, that's called financial net worth per capita, you can see that even though in terms of GDP per capita, Romania it stands quite good in the European ranking, so we are not the penultimate position, the usual penultimate position we have been in terms of many indicators, but much higher. But if you look at what's the perception of the society in terms of how financially how good I'm doing, you can see we're still on the penultimate place, so there's still much to develop. However, the good news is, yes, in terms of GDP per capita, we already are in front of at least 6 member states of the EU, and we are at, Romania is at 80% compared to the mean level, the average level of EU. And yes, talking about Italy, Italy is much higher currently, somewhere at the average level of the EU currently. So the trend is good, the trend is positive, the growth rate is the highest or the fastest in this region. So yes, Romania compared to all the other countries in the region, Central Eastern European EU member states, the growth rate is the highest here. Very good news. Nevertheless, let's stay on the ground. There's still much to improve. That was the main message of yesterday. However, today we are here to try to highlight the main or key takeaways of our study. So I would like to move on and present how our study looks like. Basically, our objective and our task from the embassy was to take into account what's happened before in terms of Italian-Romanian economic relationships. What's the situation today? But we had to refrain from future policy recommendation. That was not our job. We just had to evaluate the situation, to provide the data and analysis based on which all the decision makers can make the right decisions in the future. So basically we looked at Italian investments in Romania, FDI, foreign direct investment. Another important topic, how many jobs are created by Italian companies in Romania, as mentioned by the vice president of the county council. Then we looked also at the trade between the two countries, and in the last part we have delved deeper into some of the sectors which are very important in terms of current economic relations between the two countries. However, what we see is that probably the future will change this mix, and newer and maybe more creative, more digital industries will go in the front. So let's see the foreign direct investment. Again, just the major and key takeaways. What you can see here is the FDI stock coming from Italy to Romania. The trend is generally a positive trend, a growing trend. It has a little, had a little stagnation after the financial crisis. It had a little stagnation before and during COVID. However, what we see, and we also estimated for 2023, we don't yet have final statistics for 2023 last year, but what we estimate, what we know that in 2022, Italian investments have exceeded 8 billion euros in Romania, and what we predict is that in 2024, we will exceed the 9 billion threshold as well. And Italy, in this sense, is, and we predict that will stay the 4th largest investor in Romania, which is, I think, a very important message here. So there's a good ground on which future economic development can be built, or future economic relations between the two countries can be built. Okay, we also looked at, okay, how does this FDI look like? Because, we have a lot of geographical diversity, and we looked at, okay, which are the most important counties in Romania that receive Italian investments. Cluj is in top 5, so that's a very good news. And yes, DeLonghi contributes a lot to this position. So thank you very much for that as well. And we also looked at, okay, where do these companies come from? And maybe it's not a surprise for the people who know Italy that it's the northern region and the northern provinces of Italy. And but not only. But not only. Then what we also like to do is always to compare ourselves to our neighbors, because what do people do? Let's see how the neighbor does and how we do our job. And what you can see here, we have a very positive picture. Romania is #1 in terms of receiving Italian investments compared to the other countries. And this is also a very good news in terms of looking, there are some larger economies that receive less Italian investments. Romania is a smaller economy, let's say compared to Poland, still receives a much higher amount of investment, as you can see here. So for every #1 position we can be proud of, I think, and this is the #1 position, again, which offers a good ground for future growth and future development in terms of attracting further Italian investments, maybe in other sectors and different sectors to Romania. Okay, the other issue which is always very important, the contribution of Italian investments to employment. Again, very controversial, different data sources, different opinions in this sense. What we said is that if we accept the Eurostat figures, then we can say that we are somewhere around 100,000 employees that are employed by Italian companies. However, we know that in reality the number is higher than that, because Eurostat only considers you have to have a higher Italian participation in the capital of the company. There was no transaction, so the Italian company was not sold to the other. I don't want to go into the methodologies, but exactly the number is higher. But what we can say for sure is the 100,000 employees, that's for sure employed by Italian companies. That was relatively constant during the last years. And also in this respect, the contribution of Italy to the employment in the countries in this region, if you look at this aspect, Romania is again #1 in this sense. So what was mentioned before, the linguistic, the cultural ties between the two countries, I think you can also see in the figures that yes, Italy is contributing to the employment figure as well. So and now let's move on to the trade part. Naturally, here you can see that Italy and Romanian economy, and then Italian and Romanian trade is just in different dimensions. Italian trade is 5.5 times larger than Romanian trade, which is natural because the economy is just a larger economy. Relative to the GDP is pretty similar, so basically this is on par with what we would expect. But what's more important, so this is all the trade, but what's more important and what we really investigated is the trade between Italy and Romania. So let's see those figures. Currently the latest statistics is for 24 billion US dollars. That's the total value of trade between Italy and Romania, composed mostly of goods and also 13% of service trade between the two countries. And I think what would be also important to highlight is that Italy represents 8.1% of total Romanian trade. So again, that's a pretty large number considering that you can trade with almost all the countries of the world, but Italy takes up 8.1%. And vice versa, Romania is also it's there in the ranking of partner countries of Italy with a 1.5% contribution to the total trade of Italy. So, and what's behind this trade activity? Let's see what kind of goods are traded between the two countries in general, naturally. Mostly machinery, electronic equipment, transport equipment, other manufactured articles like furniture, fashion items, and so on. Also manufactured goods, primary resources, also food, live animals, and so on. But maybe these are the most important ones, both in terms of exports and imports. That's very interesting. So there's kind of a match between the two directions, from and to Italy. And then if you look at services, transportation, travel services, other manufacturing services like formerly the loan type of services, they are still there with some kind of contribution. Also other business services, consulting, and IT and telecom services as well are coming up in this ranking. So, and again, highlighting the role of Italy. So if we sum up and we focus on the goods trade, we can see that Italy is the second largest trade partner of Romania, both in terms of imports and exports. And the average contribution, so 7.9 and 9.7, so the average is 8.6% contribution to the total trade of Romania with all the foreign countries. So I think this is even more important than the figures we were able to show with the investments. So again, this gives a very good ground, you know, beside Germany, which is again a very natural industrial relationship between the two countries. I think this gives a very good ground to develop further and involve newer and newer sectors and newer companies into the trade between the two countries. If we look at services, I know services was a smaller part of the total trade. However, here also Italy is important, is an important partner of Romania, 5th and 6th place if we want to rank countries, because sometimes we are obsessed with ranking who's first, who's second. It's basically it's not always about the ranking or the exact number. The presence is very important and the contribution is very important in this aspect as well. And then we're almost at the end, again, just to highlight. In terms of regional comparison, again, we compare ourselves to the neighbors. Don't bother about the slightly decreasing trend because that's in percentage terms, but in value terms, the trade is increasing. It's just diversifying, more and more countries are involved, other countries maybe push harder in terms of trade. However, still, that number one position in terms of trade holds, just as well as in the case of investments, it was in the region. So again, I think it's very safe to say that one of the most significant partners of Italy in this region is definitely Romania, which again, I would like to stress gives a very solid ground, because there's a history behind it. It's a very solid ground on which you can develop this relationship further on in the future. And so to save your time, I'm not going to go into details all the other chapters of the study, so that I leave some surprises for you also if you open the study and want to lecture it. We have detailed analysis on separate sectors of economy. So if you want to see investments trade in that particular sector, there we have a deeper analysis. And there's one more, I think one of the appendices I would like to highlight is that, because that involved a lot of manual work. And here we compiled a list of almost 250 companies, Italian companies in Romania, both directly and indirectly owned. And there are some manual data connection on the ownership of these companies, on the headquarters in Italy, on the location in Romania, the activity, the financial figures. So if you're interested in a particular company, you just have to go through this list and you can find all the information. And this is not just a lista firme type of list, because again, as I mentioned, we added individual data, and I really thank for my team for doing this, because for more than 200 companies, manually selecting all the data and then compiling it together in the database, I think that was also a huge accomplishment. And as a side note, we also wanted to look at, this was not the focus, but we also wanted to look at, okay, how is Romania maybe investing in Italy? What are the figures? The figures are much lower, but it exists. So again, the relationships can be strengthened further on in this sense. And before I conclude, I also would like to show a little surprise, which we actually finished during this night. So it's quite new, and I hope there are no bugs in it, because we also promised an online data explorer for this project. So yes, it's nice to have it on paper, it feels good, but if you're interested in the details, want to explore in more depth the data, you want to really see, or you want to see the history of it, you want to see the exact figures, the percentages and so on, then we have developed a Data Explorer online platform, which naturally we will hand over to the embassy as well. And yeah, here you can see we will have all the tables in all the chapters, so you can go through them. But I think the figures are even more interesting, so I will go just to the figures. Let's stay at chapter 1. It's safer for me as well. And maybe just one example here, the composition of the investor countries. And if you're interested, okay, this is the current situation, but how did it look like in, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago? Then you just click one and then you can explore the data. Or if you're interested, okay, this is the number, but what's the percentage share? Then you just click on the data and you can discover more information. You don't have to calculate it, it's there. So this is what we included. It's 2024, we talk about digitalization. So beside the printed study, this was also our objective, and this was also our agreement with the embassy that we will deliver. And we were able to deliver it until the official launch of this study. So basically that's all from my side. Again, just the main highlights. I know some parts can be a little controversial. We encounter different data sources. It's not always, they do not always match. some difficulties in this, so it's not that easy just to collect public data. We had to also add our own estimations, own forecasts in this term. So, but I think, and we try to rely on multiple sources, try to match them even if they don't match, and try to come up with, okay, what is our sense, what is our feeling also about this data. We also added this in this study. So if you are interested, you can find one printed version of the study after this event. And yeah, you can look up the details, the specific details you might be interested in, not just the whole study. So thank you very much for your attention.